edition of the Daily Market Commentary. I'm your host, Chuck Fulkerson. Hope everybody had a great trading day yesterday as we were waiting patiently for the FOMC announcement, and the announcement we had. For those of you new to the channel, do me a favor, click that subscribe button down below. That way that you get the alerts and the updates as they happen. For those of you that are also new, we look at the same 10 to 12 futures markets every day, identifying potential breakouts and turning points. So one of the most important parts is, though, we leave the lines on the charts so that you can see how trades develop over time. And let's dive right in. So starting with the S&P. Now, yesterday on the S&P, I had talked about the dangers of taking a breakout before an announcement. So more than likely, and I will tell you, I did not. You didn't get in on this little breakdown here if you weren't trading around the FOMC announcement, right? And that FOMC announcement, as it came out, really didn't move the market all that much. But what it did do was it established a new supply, if you will, an area where there's a pretty good chance that we will see a reversal up here if we do come back and make it back to this region. Now, we're down pretty hard this morning, down 17 points in the S&P. So we're going to do a little bit of a gap and go probably this morning at the open. So while this is still a very valid region, just be aware of the arrival into this zone. So there's a chance that if we gap down this morning, in between there, which we're definitely going to gap down, that it'll blow right through this area. So just keep that in mind. And this isn't a super strong area, because if you notice, this area has already been tested, and it's kind of a retest of the areas over here to the left. So it is a bit weaker of a region. It's actually the origin of this little trend breakout here, where we had a little bit of pinching. So I think that while we may get a little bit of a reversal there, just be very cautious going into it, especially a gap and go kind of a move. It's always touchy when you've got a strong gap into those levels if there's not the NASDAQ to back it up. So I'm going to switch this to a dashed line just to give us a bit more on that confirmation side. Next, looking at the NASDAQ. So our NASDAQ level, we have gotten a pretty nice reversal off of this NASDAQ area. For those of you that were able to kind of hang on for the NASDAQ as it chopped around through this area, we've gotten a pretty nice reversal off of this zone. So this one is continuing its move down. I would be interested to see, and this is kind of what I'm thinking about with the S&P. The NASDAQ does have some reversal areas down here, but the S&P could blow through until the NASDAQ reaches its reversal area. So just keep these areas in mind. So if you're short this one, nice opportunity to take your stop and move it down to break even or even a little bit better and lock in some profit if you're short this one still from this little reversal point. Next, crude oil. So crude oil, we do have our breakdown. We finally have broken below this level here that we had set up in crude. We'd bounced off it a couple of times, flirted with it yesterday, may have gotten you in yesterday, and if it did, it shouldn't have gotten you out because it was just a little bit of a retracement from there. But now we've broken below, so this one kind of has room to roam going forward. And then gold, still kind of in that range, right? Not a whole lot happening still in gold. We had our little bounce off of the gap fill right here, and now we've come back into it again a second time, so we'll see what it does in there. I think it's going to go right through it, and in gold, I would be a little bit more apt to look at catching a bit of a reversal on a small time frame. So if we go down to the 15-minute, you might be more interested in a reversal somewhere up in here, where you could get another shot at joining that bigger picture trend. So I'm going to change this line to purple. Remember, if it's a purple line, by definition, it has lower probabilities. Next, bonds, Aussie, Euro, Canadian. Eventually, here we go. So in our bonds, we did get our little breakdown below this blue line here, and it didn't really hold on. Not a whole lot happened there, but remember about breakdowns around announcements don't have the same validity or the same strength. So most of you probably didn't jump in on that one. around the breakdown. The euro, this is that euro trade, frankly, that I talked about yesterday. We talked about it not meeting entry yesterday and losing money on the entry on that one because it did not work out. So that one would have been a small stop out if you're following all of your rules. Looking at the euro, going out to a bigger picture of this 4-hour chart, euro's been tough sledding because it's really just been in this range, right? Anytime that you're in a range this tight, you're going to have a little bit harder time making those reversal trades happen. Canadian dollar, we got a nice deep pullback here on our Canadian dollar on the 1-hour chart. We've gotten a lower low as we've broken below this low here. I don't officially have a lower swing high yet, but my upward trend momentum was waning. So if you're so inclined, you could catch a new downtrend right here. This could be the start of a new downtrend. It may not be. We could blow right through it. But this would be catching the start of a new downtrend very early in the downtrend if we do get a rally back up to this region. Great British Pound, Japanese Yen. This was the Japanese Yen level that I talked about yesterday as a stop out. I frankly just forgot to remove the lines. And then the Great British Pound, we hit the level, got a nice little move out of it, and now we've still continued to fall. So you may have taken profits on it already. We just got a little bit of a big old spike here in the last hour that if you did take your stop and move it down, probably stopped you out for, at the very least, a little bit of a profit. Copper, we've still got our level up in here. And then Japanese yen, nothing more that I want to add for it today. One thing I wanted to bring up for today that somebody had asked me about, specifically in the comments, and I do try to read the comments in the YouTubes. If you guys have questions in there, if I miss one, feel free to resubmit it. Somebody had sent a really good question in, and I want to bring that up here real quick. And he says, hello, Chuck. I'd like to ask you a question, actually, too. Can you talk about the drawdowns for this strategy and the winning percentage with this strategy or your trading? Excellent question. And the answer to that is no, I can't. And the reason I can't is because I don't track it. I don't track every single trade that I take. I don't track every, that's frankly way too labor intensive at this point in my trading career. And the other reason is that I can't accurately track results that I get and you expect to get something very similar, because everyone's going to have different rules on how they place their stops and everyone's going to have different rules on entry. And I feel like if I were to track results and post results, then I would be painting either a false picture of hope for somebody who thinks they're going to do exactly what I do, or I would be painting, I would be ultra conservative and paint too negative of a light, if that makes sense. So what I would rather do is just show you setups. You as the trader need to evaluate your own risk and make your own decisions. Now, if somebody is, I guess the word would be engineering enough and has enough time to go back, you can back test every single trade that we've done on this channel over 300, about 300 videos worth, because I try to show you the wins and the losses all the time, so it's pretty transparent. So hopefully that answers your question. I don't mean to answer it in a negative light. I just wanted to make sure that you understand why I don't do that, and because there's always very strong opinions on people wanting to see. Show me the results. Well, the results are going to vary based on how you handle it, and so it's not a fair comparison in order to do that. So, with that being said, I hope that answered your question. If you've got any other questions, please put them in the comment box below. Send me an email, chuck@iiefinancial.com. Have a big announcement coming out later today, so make sure that you click the alert button so that you get it. We finally got all of our technology bugs in order, and so big announcement coming out later today. It'll be here on the channel and then also in some of the social media platforms that I'm on. So thanks so much, everybody. I hope you have a great trading day, and I will see you soon.